taking it all. Diving deep into topics, we'll rise or we'll fall. Every episode's a journey, a ride through the maze. Join us on this path, let's ignite the blaze. So grab your headphones tight, let's go for a ride. With every spin and twist, we'll cut and run and hide. The Prime Directive, where the laughter's alive. Society's reflections, let's help each other thrive. Politics and culture, oh what a blend. Join on the journey, let's set the trend.
Well, maybe a topic we could get into here. Maybe we could get into like
something easy again.
Something easy. Great food. What do you think? Best foods. Huh?
Best foods.
Best foods.
Well, let me ask you a quick question about that.
Okay.
If you could only have one specific dish,
okay,
what dish would you choose?
Cheeseburger.
I love it. That says everything that I need to know about you. That says everything I need to know.
A really nice cheeseburger with fries.
I was concerned you did not bring up fries. I'm so glad you did. That makes me feel so much better.
It is some kind of a comfort food over the years that is just. I know it's not healthy, and I don't think I give a shit. I just wherever that invention came from, probably from the old German immigrants, actually, right? Coming to America.
I don't know.
I want to say the older German Hamburguesa or whatever, which was like a delicacy, and then thrown it onto bread eventually, and probably in the inner cities and stuff.
I'm learning something new.
Yeah, I bet that if we were to trace that, I'm sure it's where it comes from. It's German. And it's not ham. It's beef. It's right.
Yeah.
But whatever. Strange dialect changes, but no hamburger. How about for you?
If it's just one,
mm-hmm.
I have to say the Euro. Some people pronounce different. They say it's gyro.
I go Euro. I kind of like almost like an E.
Yeah, it's
the
Euro.
Euro, right?
Yeah.
Gyro.
Yes. So it's a Euro.
And then there's poor kids that I teach that are like the gyro.
The gyro. Well, to be fair, sometimes it's a little hard to try to figure out.
The phonetics of our language. I know.
Euro, but it's Euro.
Those are tasty.
Oh, you know why I picked a Euro? Because you have pretty much everything you would have in a lot of different other foods.
But it's usually lamb, right?
Usually.
Lamb?
Usually,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But it...
Not always a big lamb flavor. But I love it from like that Jerusalem cafe over here. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my God, is that good?
I tell you, some of the one thing that I will say that I wish that we had more of these. I know that there are plenty of places around the country, but I just wish we had something locally. Would be a good Turkish doner kebab.
Oh,
doner kebabs. Now, some people will say, "Oh, that's the same as yours." No, it isn't.
A doner kebab.
A doner kebab.
It is. Do teach. I don't think I've ever had one.
Basically, think of a Euro.
Okay.
The bread is slightly different.
Okay.
And you will also have various different spices, as well as dressings that are being added to the actual sandwich itself. It is simply unbelievable.
Really?
It is. Oh my goodness. Germany has a lot of doner kebab places. They don't have a lot of Euro places, a lot of doner kebab places.
Doner kebab. Interesting.
Yes, doner kebabs.
Now here in America, it seems to be we're going with like, how can we make it the most sugary explosion you've ever, like a donut lathered in sugar, dipped in chocolate bacon,
and then sprinkled with sugar on top.
Then deep fried in
sugar,
in a sugar
coated
popsicle or something. And then they'll call it something they completely like, off the rails too. Like, I got to call it like the health bomb or something.
The health bomb.
The artery cleanser. And you're like, what is in this thing? Oh, it's just sugarized meat. And you're like, ugh.
It's interesting. I remember vividly when you have the opportunity to taste different, sweets around the world.
Yeah.
And you can totally tell. You can totally tell if something was made, outside of the country. You're like, wow,
it tastes
lacks,
good.
Well, it does, and it lacks a lot of sugar.
The processed crap that's in it. Yeah. No, it is incredible. Every time we travel abroad to Mexico, anywhere, France, Germany, we couldn't believe the food. I was like, this is incredible. Italy was off the hook.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the best tasting pasta I've ever had in my entire life. Then we came back and went to like the airport at DIA and had like a pasta dish there. I got sick. I was like, this is, ugh.
Yeah.
I was like, this is terrible. I just think that, travel probably is the way to go because it opens your eyes to foods all over the earth they can be exotic sometimes, but they're just...
Well, I mean, look at people like Anthony Bourdain, the late Anthony Bourdain. He was trying in his own way to expand our viewpoints and expand our horizons with food.
He was trying to diversify, include, and equify
Food.
food. He was a DEI foodie.
Do you know what I love? Do you know what I love about some of the old Anthony Bourdain videos? How simple and honest he made some of these dishes.
Yeah.
And implying that, hey, look, anyone can learn how to be a better cook. And also trying to get others to embark on their own journey. So when it came to food and prepare meals on their own.
Big shout out to old Bourdain.
Yes.
Rest in peace, brother. Yeah. I know he dealt with some demons too, but maybe in a better place. Who knows? But hey, so what's the best dish that you what's the best dish that you actually cook? Do you cook yourself or?
I do. As I always like to joke.
Okay.
So I enjoy cooking.
Okay.
I enjoy cooking at least to an extent.
All right.
And unfortunately, nobody likes to eat what I make except for my cats. My cats love whatever I make. They're right there with their tiny little meowing faces, and they're like, feed me. I'm where's this food?
Kibbles.
What is this? Yeah, what is this
Kitten
food?
kibbles.
Yeah, what is this food you speak of? Please, I would like to try it and give you know. And I judge my food based on how much, the cat is willing to like go after it. And I'm very mindful that it's like, all right, no, you should not be eating this.
Yeah.
But no, I when it comes to my food, I have to follow a recipe.
You follow a recipe.
Yes.
So you're like the chemist cook. You're not like the artist cook. Who does the?
I have no skills. Are you? If it wasn't for the ability to just simply get food at every corner of wherever you are at any given point in time, I would most likely. No, I'm just kidding. I have about
Admar and Mickey D's.
Yeah. No, it's so funny you mentioned that because I feel like in high school and maybe early in college that might have been the thing. But no, there's a distinct benefit to, number one, preparing your own food. Mm-hmm. Number two, from a talking about finances, from a financial perspective.
True.
There's a
huge
benefit
that's
to
true.
preparing your own food.
I know. I've seen it myself. Watch my wallet drain.
Yes.
Going out to eat and just be like,
absolutely.
Did I just spend $400 on a dinner? My God!
Did I just see this the other day? Somebody went through a like a fast food drive-through. It was almost like $20. Are you like $20 for fast food? Oh yeah, is not that uncommon today, and it's no wonder that many are looking at alternative ways to, hey, maybe we can actually take a look at food in a different light. Yeah. But when it really comes down to it, I feel comfortable in saying that I've got about, I would say, half a dozen, maybe a little bit more.
Decent
recipes that I have literally in my mind, where I can just be like, all right, if need be, I can go make the food, just like that,
And it's done.
And be totally good. And I can meal prep for an entire week.
Nice.
No problem.
Nice.
No problem at all. And it's so interesting. I would actually love to talk about this a little bit more.
Sure.
Because I feel like there is this misconception, especially now with some of the inflation, which has certainly impacted everything across the board, especially when it comes to food, especially specific food items. Yeah. But when it really comes down to it, I feel it is not that complicated to have a decent dinner for not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Even if it's you just prepping a salad, something like, hey, I just bought.
It takes time. Time is the big thing. Sometimes it just takes time. Well, to do it the right way with certain things.
With certain things, I could not.
Like I do a chicken scallopini, that it takes time for it to cook, and
couldn't agree more.
I got to cook up the tomatoes just kind of right first. There's an order that I follow with that kind of stuff. But,
see, I don't have that level of skill. Okay. Here's my level of skill.
Yeah.
You buy a salad, like a spring mix salad. Yeah. That's pretty much like ready to go.
Yeah.
You get a plate. You grab a handful of salad. You put it on the plate. You put whatever dressing on it you want. Yeah. And then you can actually have like salad toppings that go on top of that.
Little shredded chicken bites or something that you get from the store and stuff.
Yeah, just sprinkle it on top.
Yeah.
And you know what? Dinner is served. And you know what? It took about 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And when it really comes down to it, for a lot of people, it's really a question of convenience and it's a question of time. And when you calculate those two things, it is not surprising. Where did I read where someone flat out said, I have discovered that it takes so much time and effort to prepare food that they order catering from restaurants. And because they buy in bulk, they effectively get a discount. And they have the restaurant cater for an entire week. And they're like, I've just meal prepped for an entire week. And, I didn't have to spend the time. All I did is I put it into specific portions and I'm good.
That's awesome.
I'm done. I was like,
that's awesome.
That actually makes a lot of sense. That genuinely makes a lot of sense.
That's awesome.
What about you?
I would say same, but, no, we just had a brand new King Supers open up right over here. You're going to want to go through this thing. It is now like a shopping mall.
Oh, gee. No way.
Do it. Go in there and just check it. We are living the most incredible, convenient time in history of the world. Yeah, it's unbelievable. There. And we're creating an oligarchy. And we're creating a kleptocracy too as well. We're creating a society where there's those. We are in the 1%. I mean, I hate to break it to most Americans, but you're already 4% of the world's population. We're only 4%. Mm-hmm. And within that subpopulation, you and I live at probably at least about a middle class-ish existence. But that still puts us in the 1% on planet Earth. See, because there's so many people that don't. But so you can imagine where guys like Bezos, Musk, and the other 2,500, 3,000 billionaires live. It's this exponential stuff. They live in these. They live in a realm that would probably be comparable to like ancient Egypt and pharaohs.
No,
I mean like where you have.
Wow, I've never thought about it that way.
Where you have like such power and wealth that you could do anything. You could save anybody. You can do anything you wish. You can launch yourself into space in your own little dick rocket. But it doesn't matter. You can have entire resources of entire states diverted to your shipping system. You can have you determine what the education system will or won't look like. You determine what roads get paved or don't get paved. You determine what energy sources get mined out of the earth and polluted into the air, or transcended and funded through fusion reactors and things like that. It's astonishing. I do worry that you and I might be that the middle class, the working class, middle class people might be in for a very painful ride here.
Painful surprise.
Yeah, because it ain't going to be most people think that like the world and America is like this big bell curve. They think that most people are in the middle class. Even people who are billionaires think they're middle class. Have you ever seen these studies?
No.
They think they're middle class.
Oh, wow.
Or they at least try to feign off like they are. But people in the lower part of the socioeconomic spectrum also think they're middle class. And so it's almost like this delusional thing where those who truly have the wealth know they'd have the wealth, but they try to feign like they don't. But for the rest of us, we all try to go, well, the middle is where it's going to be because that's probably where happiness is. But that isn't always what the evidence indicates, right?
Yeah.
We should ask AI, like, hey, Siri, what's a middle class salary like now in America? What do you think it would say? Like 70K, 80K? I don't know.
Yeah. Probably like lower middle class.
Lower middle class. And then what would it mean to have like $1 billion? I once saw, I forget which meme this was, but they tried to put the level of money up against units of time to explain just how warped
That's
it
what
is.
I was actually going to bring up.
Have you seen this?
Yes. A million versus a billion.
A million versus a billion versus even like a trillion, right? And it's like when you've got like, I believe it was
a million seconds.
A million
How many days
seconds.
is that? It's like 11 days or something.
It's like 11 days. Then it becomes like
3 years.
30 years is what it becomes.
30 years.
But then when you jumped into like a billion seconds, it became like 32,000 years.
It's remarkable.
Yeah. If you're on the internet, check that out. The time versus money. So if you have like or just numbers, the way the weirdness of the math world works. So if you have yourself like 100,000 seconds, you've got whatever it is, 3 days, 3 days or something like that. But you got a million seconds. Now you're talking like it's like a couple of years, a few years. When you have 1 billion seconds, it exponentially jumps 32,000 years.
Unbelievable.
And you're like, my God, whoa. And so you can imagine if you've got $1 million, hey, I'm doing pretty well. When you have $1 billion,
it's completely different.
You're in another eon of time.
Yeah.
As far as your wealth. I saw another meme that had to do with like Jeff Bezos at the time. This is years ago. Mm-hmm. He's even richer now. But it was talking about what he made per second. And it had been calculated down to like $6,000 per second. And so if Bezos was running around or just walking around town and like $6,000 just fumbled out of his pocket, it's not worth his time to bend over and pick up $6,000. Like he's just like, yeah. I just keep walking. If 6,000 fell in my pocket, I just keep walking.
Well, Scott Galloway actually talked about that. We touched upon that previously, where he was referencing once you reach a certain amount of wealth, acquiring additional wealth doesn't really do anything for you at that particular point anymore.
It doesn't add to your happiness.
No, it doesn't.
It just doesn't. And you can even talk to people. The Millionaire Next Door book, they sampled all kinds of millionaires. Millionaires seem to be pretty happy people because they seem to have found a medium, but there didn't seem to be an indication that the higher up you went from there, exponentially equated with higher wealth. I think it was micro level little adjustments here or there.
Yeah. And
then at a certain level, you got to start asking yourself, if you have billions of dollars, you need to start asking yourself things like, who's coming after me? Who's the big shark that wants to eat me next? You're never safe. You're never going to have anonymity. You may think you are, but no.
Well,
at that level, you're living in a bubble world, and once you start living in that abstract bubble world of where everybody's a suck up and a sycophant to you, you can see it happening, and just slowly but surely the money creeps and corrodes. And it's how many scores of philosophers, religious teachers, wise men, wise women have warned over the years about the perils of too much money. Yeah. It'll destroy you. Too little money, it'll destroy you. Too much money, it'll destroy you. Right? Yeah. You will lose yourself on the extremes. You lose yourself. So. Well, anyway, I think we've chatted here, and so maybe our next Prime Directive, after you've gone shopping over here at the King Supers, we can chat about recipes and stuff. Yeah. But I think we'll sign off for now, and until the next Prime Directive.
We'll see you later, everybody.
Right, see ya. Right, Big O? He says yes.
Yeah.
He says
he's watching. He's watching.
So.
as we close the chapter, lend us your ear. The Prime Directive's calling, so let's pass a beer. The Prime Directive, where the laughter's alive. Society's reflections, let's help each other thrive. Politics and culture, oh.